Should be good.
Okay. Welcome everyone to the Community Resources and Tourism Committee meeting. Time is 4:32. We'll start with roll call. Spencer is excused, and Tom, I don't know if he's online. Yeah, but we do have a quorum with Larry and like I said, he's not coming, so, and Monica's here as well, so. Approval of the minutes. Everybody get a chance to read them over there in the packet that was sent out. Motion by Supervisor Barrier. Seconded by Supervisor Bjork. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Any public comments at all? I received none. All right, we'll move on to the area extension report.
Hey, okay, I better be on top of things here. All right. Or less. All right. So, yes, I just have a couple of things. I just want to give you all an update on the associate educator position for our Human Development Institute. So that's in collaboration with DHS here in Dunn County. So we are moving forward. I'm currently working on the request to fill for that position. And so what that will be is the continuation of the playgroup position or the playgroup program with probably some spins for the extension flair, if you will. So we're really excited about that opportunity because it is an audience of parents that are parents, grandparents, foster parents. It's just a number of family structures that participate in this playgroup. And so we're just really excited to have that audience to be able to work with and partner with and bring some resources forward to hopefully help support them and their families. So we're moving forward with that. We've met with finance, so you'll see that reflected on the contract. But the way that'll work is that it will be we will bill the county or DHS department for that amount of money. Or the actual costs of that position. So that is not additional levy funds that's passing through, but you will see an increase in our budget and an increase on the contract for that. So we're pretty excited about that partnership with DHS. Do you have questions on that position at all, or?
Just a little bit on what are the age of these kids?
Typically, it's the birth to 3
okay.
type of, yep, that.
I always hear that, so that's.
Yep, it's partnership with birth to 3 and also Head Start, but I don't think there's a limit on, so if a parent has a 4 or 5-year-old that's coming in, that child is also welcomed into that space.
Is that the group that meets next door here? They always look like they're having a good time.
Yep, it's called Learning While Playing, right? We hope. So we're really looking forward to that partnership. And I also wanted to talk a little bit more and introduce a rescoping of a position description that I'm currently working on, and that would be Deanna's position. Position itself is not changing in terms of supporting the office. It's a way for us to rescope Deanna's position that will align more with her strengths that she brings to this position, and that currently the position description does not allow for. One of that is, or the main area of that is actually teaching. So Deanna has a teaching degree in her current position, the way it's scoped. She's not in the position description, teaching is not part of that. And our HR, as well as our institutes, are really really pay attention to that. So we've been working with, we had to work with an institute on that. And so we've been working with community development because that is one area that we've found that not only has Deanna's skill set where we could capture that the most, it also would help the county the most. And so, looking at some of the leadership development programs, so we know that, so some of the departments are asking for programs that might be, and I'm just going to give some examples. I'm not saying these are the programs, but like Real Colors or Crucial Conversations or some of those areas where we'll be able to address that more. Also going out into the community and working with maybe some of our coalitions, such as the Child Care Coalition work group, that will allow her to utilize her skill set in that area as well. So we're really excited about this. Deanna already has a lot of really good connections with the community, and I think it really does extend the extension programs even more and adds a lot more value to what you're currently investing in that position. So, so I just wanted to give you an FYI on that. It's something that I think it will help us also retain Deanna, because I think this is an area that she's missing. I know this is an area that she's missing in terms of that teaching piece. So, so really looking at retention and extending our resources.
Once again, does extension have a curriculum for her to follow, or how do you do that?
So she'll be working within the Community Development Institute, and so working alongside Garrett more so, but can also work alongside the other educators. So it's an associate educator position at a 0.5, and we'll keep the other 0.5 at that is about the office operations, or what is it? This administrative specialist position. Thank you. Yeah. And so the associate educator position allows for that, working more in depth with the programs. And so, which we have already made those changes across the area with all of our administrative specialists positions, because extension really, we work a little bit differently in terms of the support that we need. And it's not necessarily supporting the individual, it is supporting the program. And so what that looks like is that they can attend meetings and work alongside of educators within that position, which they all do. They just aren't able to teach. And so and not all of them have that skill set, and Deanna does. And so we really wanted to capitalize on that. And so that was the reason for the shift. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm familiar with Crucial Conversations, but what is Real Colors?
Oh, so Real Colors. So that's more of a personality inventory. And what we do with that in extension is we utilize that as like knowing your own strengths around your personality. So where you excel, whether it's, so it's based on colors. That's why it's called Real Colors.
Okay.
There's 4 colors. So it's blue, green, gold, and orange. Mine, interesting. And so it's those strengths that you bring forward. And then it's how we take it one step further in the sense of like, how do you communicate with someone who that color might not be a strength, or that personality is not a strength of yours. So how do you align that with someone and help through conflicts and understand them more and how they show up in a space?
Okay.
So it's one of those personality inventories that a lot of departments, even in this county, in Dunn County, has gone through that training, and it's a team building activity. So
Yeah. I'm happy to hear about all this work. I think that the leadership development stuff that Garrett's been doing has been really important. So I'm glad to hear that we're further expanding.
yeah, and I think Garrett's on right now, but I think maybe at one of his next presentations, he can expand on the work that he's done with that even more. So, and well, the progress that he's made with it. What we've seen across all 3 counties is that the HR departments have had to decrease that in their budgets because of budget cuts across all 3 counties, or that was an area where it's just easy to target. And so we hope to step into that space. And not only that within our partners within counties, but then also nonprofits and some of those others that have budget cuts that really can't rely on their own resources to bring that in because it's expensive. And so we're really, Garrett has been doing a lot of work in that area. And so Deanna will kind of help along with that as well now. So we're excited about that, knowing that that has been a huge need that is surfacing because of the budget cuts across all three counties. It's interesting this year, all three counties, that was an area that they were having to cut because of budget constraints. So speaking of which, so one of the things that I met with Bob this week, and we're going to continue to work on as a staff, is really to think strategically around program impact. So it's obvious that I think we have some education to do with the board in terms of what our programs offer and the impact that we have on our constituents. And so so we'll start to bring that forward. We really need to clearly show how we work to meet the community needs in Dunn County. We're going to be adding a dashboard to our reports that will provide more quantitative information. And we'll keep that qualitative information so you read about the things that they're doing in a little bit more depth, but we're going to add that quantitative picture of our reach and impact, and that'll include numbers and what we're doing with our newsletter and the impact that has and the reach that has. So and our website and how many people call our office, those kinds of things. So we're going to be adding that. Probably not monthly because we don't see a huge change on a monthly level, on a monthly status, but I think it'll tell a clear picture of the value on a quantitative, because that's what I'm hearing a lot is, well, how many people do you actually reach? We don't really showcase that except in our end of year report. And so I think we can do a better job of that throughout the year, and then culminate into our end of year report.
Yeah, we talked about doing that, each individual 4-H and Garrett, and everybody else, try to keep track of how many people they actually talk to. I think the board themselves don't really realize how much impact that extension has because they don't see no numbers, they don't see nothing, they're just there, so I think if we work with them and kind of get some numbers out there, because they come pretty close to getting cut this year, so yeah.
Yeah, so we really want to try to negate that for next year. But yeah, and we'll also showcase numbers in terms of like coalitions we work with, the number of partners we work with, just to show that, when we're in those spaces, we are extending the work of other community organizations because of our work with them. So we're also going to be showcasing some of those. I'll be bringing that forward to the committee for to take a look at and to gain your insight and your thoughts. And did we hit the mark? Is this something that you find of value before we might put it more broadly to the rest of the committees or the rest of the county board?
Some of that could be quarterly report or just semi-annual, I guess, would probably be good enough, I think, so.
Yeah, that's what we do in Eau Claire County.
It turns change month to month, but. Yeah.
Right, and that's what we do in Eau Claire County right now. It's semi-annual.
Is it?
Yeah. So, but we can discuss that as we move forward, what that might look like.
Any further questions? Kristen, got any more?
That's all I have, and I was under 10 minutes, Zach, but they had questions, so, yeah.
Buzzer didn't go off.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yes,
Okay. I
absolutely.
just want to say thank you because I don't know if I'll be here next month. I may have a vacation, but I just want to, thank you for your support and the discussion and the consideration of a part-time. So yeah, we're winding down. 2 of the 3 educators have positions that they're looking forward to. Hopefully the third one will. And I'm going to retire out of the UW and then, enjoy the holidays and figure it out from there. So, so that was it. We're just dispersing equipment and curriculum wherever we can and whoever, wants to use it. And a lot of colleagues are getting equipment and ideas of how to maybe connect with partners they haven't before. Connected with UW Eau Claire and UW Stout, their community nutrition program, and Eau Claire's school and nursing program, and their students are going to maybe take up a few things. occasionally. So that's good. Yeah. So anyways, that was it.
Yeah, I had in my notes here also to thank all the Foodwise staff, all the way down the line from top to bottom. This is going to be a community loss, as we all know, because it served well in the community. So thank you very much for your time and dedication, and congratulations to Deanna. If you're going to get some more work to do and some teaching, yes. We know nobody wants to lose you. You're worth it. So yeah. Yes. Any other questions for anybody here? So, all right, we'll move on to, Zach, you got something on 4-H?
I do. Okay, this doesn't count. I am, just to make sure I stay on track though. All right, so welcome to the 2025 State of the Clover. If you were here last year, you know we did the 2024 and a one-trick pony with that. But I do like to kind of go over some of the numbers. If you know 4-H, the end of the 4-H year kind of follows the school year. So September is when they need to re-enroll as members and volunteers. So this is a good time to kind of talk about what we ended up with last year and where we are so far this year. So that's flag a little bit, doesn't it? Okay, there we go. So at the end of this year, we had 296 youth enrolled with 56 volunteers. So if we compare that to the previous 2 years, okay. So as you see, we have had a good increase from the last couple years. I am looking at the last few years just because I know it's going to fluctuate up and down, but hopefully you can, if we graph it out, we can kind of keep that upward trend at least for a while. I mean, I don't know if I want a 1,000-member program. That might be a little too much, but keep the upward trend while we keep going here. So I'm doing very good. I do have a little note that from 24 to 25 this last year, we actually increased by 7.6%, while the state as a whole decreased by 5.5%. So we were going up, while as a whole, the enrollment went down just a little bit over the state. So I'm going to, oh, that's right, throw one slide in here. So this is where we are now. As of the 19th, so as of 2 days ago, I just threw this in here, we had 158 youth enroll so far this year. And the green numbers below that shows the increase from this time last year. So as you can see, we're up 11.3% from this time last year. Our first year members and new members doing really great. As I was telling Bob, I was at Rock Falls and they have like half the club is new members this year. We are up 73.3% with the new members already this year from what we were this time last year. Last year, we ended up with, I think I said 64 new members total, and we're at 26 in October. So we're doing really well with that. So I'm just going to go through a few of the programs that we do. Just a couple of highlights, talk about the importance of them. But one thing I did want to talk about very quickly is what I use when I do my program planning. This is what we call the Thrive model. And the really important thing to look at is down at the bottom, which is hard to see, but it's that developmental context. So that is the sparks, belonging, relationships, and engagement. So when I do my program planning, I try to hit at least one of those. And the research says that if you do that, all these other good things that you see going up that flower will come along after it. So the first one I was going to highlight very quickly is the Battle of the Clubs that we've done. I've done it for the last 2 years now. One of the reasons I brought this program back is because it's a historic program. I don't know how long it's been going on for sure, but I have heard people say that they've been doing Battle of the Clubs back in the 80s. So with so many things in extension and 4-H changing, I feel like it's really important to hang on to the historic pieces that we can. So I brought this back. Very well received. This last year we had 74 youth and volunteers come. So you think we have, a little less than 300 total, 74 out of the 300 pretty good numbers coming to that. It's really important. It brings clubs together. The clubs come and compete as a team. It brings them together as a community for the entire county. so they can kind of see that they're part of something bigger, not just the club itself, for the bigger picture of the Dunn County 4-H. It lets kids meet new people. The one picture I have there, they're doing like a get to know you activity. I always start with that so they can meet new people in the county. And it makes them feel accepted. The final thing that I think is really nice about this is that it is youth led. So we have members of the Youth Activities Council leading the activities here. Anytime I do a program, I try to get the youth leaders involved as much as I can, or as much as they're willing to do it. So the next one, camp is a big program for us. It takes a lot of energy to put it on, but it's really important. There's a lot of studies and research done about how important camp can be for youth development. So we camp with Eau Claire and Clark County, and there was 108 total youth campers and counselors. We have the high schoolers are the camp counselors, and 19 of those were from Dunn County. So almost 20 kids from Dunn County for camp. What that does for them, it builds life skills. It gives them independence. If they haven't stayed away from home, a lot of times it's the first time to get that independence of that. Leadership skills, definitely for the counselors, but also for the older campers as they're leading the younger campers through, working with them. And it builds those sparks that we talk about, the sparks like the things that they're interested in, gets them interested in new things, gives them new experiences, and it gives them a sense of belonging. So if, you're in a cabin or a tent with people for 3-4 days, you get to know them, get that sense of belonging a little bit. And at the bottom there, just put a little quote from a counselor talking about how being a camp counselor helped them feel more open, better communication, more talkative, things like that. Then the last one I wanted to highlight is a Dunn County original. I started this last year, and it went over very well, is the stuffed animal show that we do during the fair. We had 12 youth participate in that this last year. I think we had 10 the year before, so those numbers are growing just a little bit. But if you don't know, in 4-H, youth in kindergarten, first and second grade are not allowed to show any type of live animals at the fair. So I started the stuffed animal show to mainly give them practice showing, get them used to it, get them comfortable talking to judges and adults. I always have a kind of creative writing aspect to this as well. So they come in and we meet in this room beforehand, and they have to fill out a sheet about the animal and where does it live and what does it eat. So it gets them, thinking creatively as well about the animals. But then it builds those relationships with the adults as well. So they're working with the volunteer judges and they're getting used to talking to these adults, something that can be scary as they get older, but this is really just a positive activity for them. It's all positive feedback for the kids. And on the bottom there, I just have a quote from one of the parents talking about how it helped the kids with their speaking skills and boosted the confidence, gave them something to look forward to, things like that. So then just a few other impacts from 4-H. I had a hard time picking the pictures to put up there because there were so many good ones. So the youth in grades 7th and up fill out a survey put out by the state. And at the end of the survey, they have a chance to give us these quotes. So I've put a few of them on there. Things like I've learned to never be afraid to try new things, had great experience meeting new people, learned how to be a good role model, the importance of giving back, so kind of things like that. And then, like I said, I couldn't just pick 4 or 5 because there's just so many of these ones. I like this one on the left, though. I won't read them all to you, but I learned the importance of teamwork, which has helped me so far in college. I think that's great that they've taken these things that they're learning in 4-H and carrying them with them throughout the years. Things like learned how people similar across the United States. The youth went on a trip out to the East Coast and got to experience different things out there as well. So. A couple more things as I have a minute and a half left. So things I'm doing kind of with 4-H, but also just as the PYD educator, I've starting some new partnerships. I went to Bridge to Hope to do a program for the youth that were staying there. Only did that once so far. Heard they want to have us back. Got to work on getting that connection again. I am working with the 5th grade class up at Knapp Elementary School. We're doing the Trout in the Classroom program. It's a program I did when I was teaching. It's actually a Trout Unlimited program that I am taking and kind of adapting, throwing some 4-H curriculum in there with it. So I could talk for 10 minutes about that. Maybe this spring I will, but I won't do it right now. AmeriCorps, we're looking for an AmeriCorps intern. So that would be someone who could help kind of bring some of these programs out to some new 4-H members. And UW Stout, I just put Stout on there because I've been contacted by multiple departments. We're doing something with the Fab Lab, with robotics. The chemistry department wants to partner with us. There's a new UW Stout Collegiate 4-H club that I've been working with. I kind of help them get going. So we'll be partnering with them as well. So with, of course, the support, I like to kind of highlight this because all these things that we're doing, I obviously couldn't do by myself. Anne has been our 4-H assistant for a couple of years, of course, Deanna. And then Sam was our intern this last year, and she was just fantastic. And the help of them, helping with these programming and things like that, I wouldn't be able to do nearly as much by myself. So I really appreciate that we get the funding for that, to have those positions, and I appreciate all the help that they give us. So I did pass out just a list of programs that we do throughout the year for 2 reasons. One is when you kind of see the variety of what we do. And 2, if you're ever interested in coming to anything, checking things out, let me know. Everyone's always invited. Well, not everybody, not open to the public, but committee members is always invited to come and check things out. The one we have here on November 8th is our project day. We got about 30 kids signed up for that right now. It's going to be a big deal, so that might be a good one to check out. Just let me know, so we know if there's different people around. I can let people know, hey, this person's going to be coming. But always welcome and invited to check out what we do. Questions?
I would just like to add that I don't think Zach toots his own horn enough because that teddy bear program at the fair has now been replicated across the state. So he developed it here, and there's others, including our area in Chippewa, that that's now doing that in their 4-H programs. So just want to give a shout out to that as well.
I had that on my notes. I forgot to mention it, but yes, I'm hoping to bring that to one of the conferences that we go to in the spring and see if more people will take that up too. So
I believe that's why Zach refers to our program as the original.
we are now the original. Yes.
Boy,
I was at the end of my time.
Any more questions for
Yeah.
Zach? Okay. go ahead.
4-H at the Mabel White Christmas.
Yes,
Is that with the MTG White Christmas production?
it is. Yep. Yeah.
Cool.
So we're working with them. They're giving us the group rate. And then I also, our leaders council is going to throw a little bit more money towards the tickets. I wanted to make it really affordable to families who maybe can't afford to go see a show. So
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm actually doing the lighting for that show. I didn't know that 4-H was coming, but I love it when MTG collaborates with community groups and brings the kids in. It's so much fun to run those shows. So I'm looking forward to it.
yeah, I'm working on, I forget who I was talking to now, you probably know, trying to get some type of an educational component afterwards from the Theater Guild of maybe, talking to you about the technical theater, the director or something. So
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Especially because behind the scenes,
Yeah,
it's underrepresented.
Mhm.
it is. And we have a hard time recruiting people to fill those roles. So bringing them in young
Right.
might work out well.
Well, I used to do that in high school, so maybe if I have some free time, I can,
Yeah,
we'll see.
yeah. All right.
Any further questions? Anything for the other staff that was in your packet? They all got a chance to read through them all and got any questions for them?
Yeah, I think we have Garrett, Margaret, and Ryan, I think I saw online. So if you have additional questions for them, they are online right now.
Garrett, I see got a three-part workshop for the librarians and then staff and volunteers and stuff. Is the library planning committee chair invited to that, do you know?
Oh, there we go. Yeah, so it's in partnership with IFLS, which is our regional library system. They distributed kind of the invitation out to everyone in their network. So I think friends of the library, library boards, and then library staff, including directors. Most of the folks that we have participating are library staff members or directors. We just did our second workshop last week, and it's been a good time. And I can tell that these are folks that are now thinking about how is it that they're leveraging their own networks to build support for their libraries, whether that's financial, political support, or even kind of skill sets that folks in the community might have.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions for anybody on the staff? Larry?
Well, I don't know if Jerry's here, but on the radio this morning, he was talking about a forever university extension program on applicator training and buying pesticides and handling them. And so probably things that people may not know that university extension gets into, but you see those big rigs operating out in the fields and the spray is flying or the fertilizer is going on. University extension has had those people through program, and I think it goes all the way through February and March. It starts up now, but we got talking about Deanna and educators, and I don't know what the term would be if farmers are non-traditional or whatever, but university extension probably meets the requirements of the law that these guys know what to do. And that's a good thing. Kudos to Jerry.
Yeah, that's one of the things I think that they don't even know that the extension even has any part of. And maybe you could talk more about it, or Jerry could, but even the manure handling that's happening across the field in my place, I smell it for days. I mean, making sure the nitrates are good and all that stuff. It's just a lot of stuff that people don't know that you guys are actually into it. So.
Well, and I think we need to do a better job of communicating that because we're not a mandated program. We're in state statute, but we're not mandated. But we do support a lot of the mandated programs that other departments are required to do. A lot of times we are that educational component. And so this area has, obviously Jerry and Ryan that can help do some of those mandated requirements for those entities. I don't know if you want to.
So to kind of add off of that too, you guys are 100% correct. I don't think everyone knows we do those things. So Jerry and I've kind of been coming up with a marketing plan for that pesticide applicator training already. So what's going to be happening is we found that if we market too soon, everyone forgets about it and doesn't sign up for it. So the flyers and the media releases have already been created. Jerry hasn't seen them yet. I've created them for Menominee at least, or Dunn County. But those will start going out mid-November. Just so you guys know, Jerry kind of came up with dates, and maybe Jerry wants to touch on a little bit, but we're looking at on January 22nd hosting our pesticide applicator training here. January 22nd for in our area. Yes, it will be in this building. And then February 4th would be Bloomer, and then Altoona's February 26th. So we're kind of trying to come up with more marketing. One thing that I just went through the list of who is running out, like their applicator license expires. Currently in this year, we do not have anyone in Dunn County that their license expires. So that's one thing to keep in mind, as well as if we have a year where we have a lot of people expiring, we do send out letters to them. So then we can see an increase. I believe, Jerry, that's 5 years, correct?
Correct. And there's an issue this year because of the COVID year. some got pushed back a year. They kind of granted that year when the training got disrupted. So that's where there's not as many this year. And there could be new people. That's why you still offer it, regardless if they're going to there's a certification timing. But next year there could be a large increase because you have kind of that double year coming through that got pushed back from 2020. But yeah, thank you, Larry, for at least knowing you're listening, or at least there's listeners out there in the morning. But the big concern, I think, that we're trying to get through, and it helps to have marketing expertise like Deanna has. We used to sell those manuals in the office, and that drove a lot of clientele to the office to purchase those manuals. And now all of that's done online. So that's been a change that the program has made at UW-Madison. So that kind of pulls that audience away from the walk-in traffic. And so we have to find new ways to actually, get the word out that there's a different way of doing business than what a lot of farmers are used to doing over several years of this certification program.
I think one thing too is we still had very good numbers this last year. We had 27 people just in this building, and I believe Jared, you remember that we capped the seats at 30? So we did have a lot, and we had people that called after that registration time. But what happens is that downfall is that manual does have to come from UW-Madison. So if they don't order it in time, we can't really give them they can't take the test because they need that manual. So we did still have people wanting to join the class. So we are seeing good numbers with it, which is a good feeling.
Do you guys go by county or is there districts, or how far do they come? I mean, is it Buffalo County, Trumpeau, down that far, Pepin? I don't know. How far do they come? Or is there another one set up down there closer?
There could be, they're hiring they're trying to hire an educator in that Buffalo, Trempealeau, Jackson area. Pepin, a lot of times those farmers can either come to Dunn or Eau Claire, depending on where they're offered. But the way the program is set up, there's one offered per county. In the past, before we went to the virtual or online versions, you would do 2 or 3 in a county. So there was a lot more opportunity to do it in person. And that's where Dan and I have kind of looked at 30 as what the room can hold. We could maybe squeeze a few more in, some of the other locations, a few more, a few less, depending on the facility. But we're trying to spread them out. So farmers have an opportunity. You don't have to take that training in your county. You can go to anywhere in the state, and you could even do it online. You just have to prove the training can be online, and not do these watch go into a specific in-person training, but you still have to present that certificate that you did the online training to Deanna or any of our offices so they can provide the test. The test is the key to the whole thing. And they need that manual, like Deanna said, in order to take the test.
Is there a cost to this at all?
Jared, there's a cost.
Yeah.
The manual, I believe, is like 42.
Yeah,
right?
They got a different number, and I don't know if that just covers the postage, but it's somewhere in that 40, 45, and then there's $10 if you attend an in-person training. So you might be around $50, and that's good for 5 years. So you can look at it $10 a year, but the year they recertify, it's a $50 to $55 hit, depending on if they've changed the rates.
Yeah, so Jerry hosts the big day here, but we still have people come in to our office and they'll take the test one-on-one with me. So I'll proctor that exam. With that being said, though, if I proctor it, they do have to have a higher percentage to pass if they did not come to a training. So they could bring in like their certification saying that they took a class, and then take the test with me. And then they'd need, I think it's a 50% to pass, I want to say, Jerry. But if they don't do an in-person training, it's more like 70%. So.
Correct.
Any further questions? Other staff reports? Seeing none. We'll move on to items placed at the request of the chair, economic development update. I don't know if anybody's here to give that one. Jenna, anybody? Oh, okay. Dunn County Communications? No. Dan usually covers that one as well. Um, and broadband, so, A, B, and C is pretty much not gonna be covered here today, so, D, further meeting discussions, so we're looking at trying to cut costs, as we know, the county has to do that. Now, we could look at this, we're not gonna make decisions today, we can if you want to, but, we could meet every other month. We could meet quarterly, we could meet every third month, and, just keep in the back of your mind, we'll probably make some decisions after coming up. I mean, we don't do a lot of, actions, so we have to meet and they do meetings here, I don't know, we'll be down to 4 now, won't we? So we could do it quarterly. For each one of these guys, give a report, I suppose, something like that.
We could double up.
Yeah, 2, yeah. Just a thought, so if we could save money for the cost of these meetings and these guys would save more time by not being here every week too, by every month, I should say, so. Just a thought, I just want to bring that up for discussion, you can think about it, any comments?
Yeah, I think it makes sense. It didn't occur to me, but yeah, for all the reasons you said, we don't do a whole lot of actions on this committee and yeah, we could save some money.
Yeah, we'll discuss that further down the line then. Thank you, guys. No action to be taken, no resolution report from county resources. Next meeting, Tuesday, November 18th. At 4:30 right here, room 60. Any questions? Meeting adjourned.